Hello everyone, it's Cassie and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my March wrap-up. Reading was about the only thing that I was successful with in March, so I'm just gonna be proud of that. I read 7 books in March, which is a lot for me. I'm not the fastest reader and I don't have the most time to be reading, so I'm very proud with my 7 books. They were all quite good, so it was a successful month. So let's just get into my thoughts on all the books that I read in March. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both those will mean the absolute world to me. My Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out. And let's get into the March wrap up. I filmed 2 full vlogs and part of a vlog in March with these books. So one is already out, one will be out after this video, and then one I don't know if it'll be out because I still need to read another book for it. If you want even more in-depth thoughts on these books, I will link the vlog that's out already in the description box below. When I post the other vlogs, I will link them in the description box too, if I remember. The first vlog was see how much I could read in 12 hours. So I got a few books done. The first one being Dal A For Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This one I loved. Gave it 5 stars. It's so good and so much fun. We follow Medi and she has a meddling family. Her aunties and her mom all meddle in her life. And so she is going on this first date that's a blind date, and she ends up somehow kind of killing her date. It spins out of control that she doesn't feel like she can go to the police. She tells her mom, and her mom then calls her aunties, and they all meddle in trying to get rid of this body. When we have Medi in college and her college romance and how that ties back to our current times. And it was just so much fun. It's not really a mystery because there are like revelations in here, but you're not really expecting that to happen. They just kind of come out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but like that's not the theme of the book. So I really enjoyed this. I recently bought her new release. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers is what it's called. It's down there. I recently bought that and I'm gonna be reading that soon, hopefully. And I haven't gotten the second book to this yet, just because it wasn't in store when I picked that one up. But I will definitely continue the series. I don't know how many books are gonna be in the series. There's at least 2 already. That might be it, but I really enjoyed this. If you've been putting this off for a while like I did, definitely pick it up. It's so much fun. In that video, I also read Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier or Hillier. I'm not sure. I say Hillier because I heard someone say it once. But this is a mystery about Paris, who is married to this rich man. And right at the beginning of the book, we have her in the bathroom with her husband, who is dead, in the bathtub, and she is covered in his blood and has a razor in her hand, and the police are there arresting her. So we don't know what happened or how it happened, but we're just thrown right into the situation right away. But Paris isn't worried about this. She's more worried about all the attention that this case is getting because she's scared it's gonna bring back something from her past. There's like quite a few parts in here. The first 2 are like the longest, I think, and I had fun reading this. It isn't like the fastest read, but I still quite enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, which is pretty solid. I'm glad I finally got to it. I think it's a solid mystery. It's not like anything groundbreaking, but I still really enjoyed it. I also read the 3rd volume of Heartstopper, which I love this series. It's so good. It's a graphic novel series about Nick and Charlie. In the first one, they become friends and everything just unravels from there in a good way, and their relationship grows. This one, they're on a school trip to Paris, and this is definitely my favorite volume. It's so much fun, and I just like it being in Paris. I've been to Paris twice, and it's great. So it was just a fun setting, and it took them out of their normal world where we still see them in it for part of the book, but a big chunk of it is in Paris and is super fun. Later in the month, I read Heartstopper Volume 4, so I'm officially caught up on this series, which I'm very happy about because, you know, that's always a goal, to catch up on series. I'm just making my way right through it, but it's super fun, and it does discuss deeper and quote-unquote darker topics, but it does it in a way that, even for a graphic novel, it doesn't feel rushed, and it doesn't feel like they're just going over the surface level. Again, if you've been putting off reading these, definitely pick them up. So I'm excited for the 5th one to come out later this year and finish up this series. Then I read The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. This is probably Peter Swanson's most popular book, at least on BookTube and stuff. I've heard a lot about this one. People really enjoy this one. In here we have Ted and Lily, and they meet at a airport bar, and they just get to talking, and Ted somewhat jokingly says he just wishes he could kill his wife, and Lily offers to help. And as I keep saying in this video, it just unravels from there. There's a lot to this book, and there's multiple parts, but I really enjoyed it. I think I ended up giving this one a 4 as well. The first part of this I would have given 5 stars. I loved the first part. I think it's the second part, there's a perspective that I just don't really care for, so it felt a little bit slower, but I can understand why this is people's favorite from him. I don't know where it stands in the ones that I've read so far. I think I've read 3 of his. I enjoyed it. Again, it doesn't really feel like a mystery because we kind of know what's happening pretty much the whole time. There's a few mysterious parts, but not overall. It's more of a thriller. I don't know what I would describe it as, because I don't feel thrilled in this, but it's I don't feel thrilled in most thrillers. I don't know that I'm the best decider on that because I don't really feel thrilled. I enjoyed it, and the premise was really interesting, and these characters are very interesting. There is a second one kind of in a series with this now, so eventually I will get to it as well. The ending doesn't make me feel like I need to pick it up ASAP, but definitely get to it eventually. Then I finally finished reading European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman by Theodora Goss. If you've been on my channel or subscribed to my channel for a while now, you would know that I started reading this in April of 2022. So it's almost been a full year, so I finally finished it, and I enjoyed this. This is the second book in the, it's a longer title, but basically the Athena Club series. I can't remember what. I think it's like Extraordinary Adventures of the Athena Club or something. These all follow the daughters of many of the men in classic literature. Daughters meaning biological daughters, but mostly that they are the experiments and what these scientists made. Justine Frankenstein, Mary Jekyll, and Diane Hyde. In this one we introduce Lucinda Van Helsing, Beatrice Rappaccini, Catherine Moreau, and all that. In the first one we have, it feels so long ago and so different from what this is about, but we have, oh, and we also have Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. But in the first one, Mary Jekyll, and she is needing to make some more money so she can survive, basically, because all of her family has died, and she thinks that she can find Hyde, who is on the loose and up for, there's a reward for whoever finds him. She can find him and get the reward, and also get him put in jail because she believes he killed her father. Then there's some murders in London, which is where they live, and then they start meeting the other people in the Athena Club and start finding out about this scientific society that might be doing a lot wrong. And this one, they're on their way throughout Europe to help Lucinda Van Helsing. So it was long, 700 pages, and it didn't really feel like it needed to be because most of the action happens at the end. There's only a few little action things in the first part, but I still enjoyed it, and I will eventually finish off this series. I just don't have the third one yet, so I'm not in a hurry to buy it, and I don't feel this insane need to end the series yet or finish the series yet, or to like read it right away. but the ending was good and intriguing for the third one. So I will definitely eventually finish this, maybe hopefully by the end of the year. I don't know, we will see. But I'm glad to finally have this off of my currently reading because it's been on there for a year. Then finally, the last book that I read in March was House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas, the second book in the Crescent City series. This one I also kind of started a year ago, but I had only read like the prologue and the first couple pages. So I finally got to finishing this, and I shouldn't have waited so long. It was so good. I know people were disappointed by this, and I can see why, because I didn't enjoy it as much as I loved the first one, but I still really, really liked this one. I love this world, and I love these characters so deeply. So this was just so good. In the first one, we have Bryce Quinlan, who is half human, half fae, and there is a connection to her and this huge crime that occurs in her city. They believe that they get the criminal that does it, but 2 years later, the crimes begin again, and they realize that they got the wrong person. And since Bryce has a connection to the original crime, she is asked to help out and find the criminal, the person that committed these crimes, and she's given the help of Hunt, who is a fallen angel, and we just go from there, where this whole world is built and unraveled and craziness ensues, and I loved it so much. It was my first Sarah J Maas, and so I went out and bought A Court of Thorns and Roses. Haven't read it yet. Oops. I finally read this. Especially, I was planning on reading this anyway, and then the third book was announced this month as well. So I'm so excited for the third one to come out in January of 2024. So far away, but also not that far away. The ending of this is insane, and now I just want to go down the Sarah J Maas wormhole, rabbit hole, whatever, because if you know, you know, it's crazy. So I'm so glad I finally got to this. Like I said, I love the characters in this, and we see more characters' perspectives in this, which I loved. In the first book, I really liked Rune, and you see more of him in this one, as well as some more new characters or ones that were just lightly touched on in the first one. So this is definitely like my favorite series. Start reading the rest of Sarah J Maas's books and hopefully read them all before the third one of this comes out. But I didn't get any, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched my April TBR, I didn't get any on my TBR. So I'm kind of upset about that, and I might just throw my TBR out the window so I can start that series. I'm very happy I read this. This is also a really chunky book, so I read quite a few pages this month. I meant to show you my stats, but I forgot. So let's quickly go over those before I close this video out. I forgot to say I gave the European travel 4 stars, and I gave House of Sky and Breath 5 stars. So my average rating for the month was 4.43 stars. I had a really good reading month. Oh, I didn't even tell you. I think I gave Kind Worth Killing 4 stars, Heartstopper, both 3 and 4, 4.75. Average rating was 4.43 stars. Really good reading month. And page-wise, I read 3,332 pages. Who am I? Like, that does not happen, but like these alone is like 1,500 pages. This is what like the genre breakdown that Storygraph gives me. I had a really good reading month, and I'm really, really happy with everything that I read and the amount I read and the quality of everything. Loved it. So it was a good month. Hoping to have another good month in April, and honestly just the rest of the year. That would be great. But this has put me in a good spot because I was just trying to read 5 books a month. So we upped it. Or like, I think I was even only trying to read 4 a month. So we upped it. That is everything that I read in March. Let me know in the comments down below what you read in March. This is a heavy stack. If you've read any of the books that I read in March, let me know what you thought of them. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both those would mean the absolute world to me. My Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!